Hi. So I want to talk about the quiz, and I'm just going to walk through the questions and yeah, talk about them. Overall, I'm happy with how things worked out. Since it was the first quiz, I customarily give everyone a 1 point boost, right? So it brought the average from 84, which was good, to 94, which is really good. I've posted the printout of the quiz statistics. There are a few things to keep in mind. The average time was only 9 minutes and 9 seconds. Okay, maybe some of you went through it really quickly, but I suspect some of you went through it too quickly. So in the future, take your time, right? You have up to 55 minutes. Just be mindful of what you're doing. Okay. The first question, everyone got right, so excellent work. I'm required to take the final exam for this course in person. The answer is true, right? You are. I've posted a short page about that, so if you have questions about it, read that, see if those answer the questions. If they don't, get in contact with me and we'll figure it out. Second question, different assignments are due on different days of the week in this class. Everyone except for one person got this right. I suspect the person who got it wrong just misread the question or misunderstood the question. So this is partly what the 1 point stuff is for. But this is correct. Some things are due always on Sunday, the quizzes, right, at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Homework is always due Friday at 11:59 p.m. EST, and if there's any sort of worksheet or homework like that, it's due at Wednesday, I believe. But check the thing every week just to make sure. All right. Now we're into actual content questions. So an argument's valid if its premises are true. 31 of you got this correct. The answer is false. True is incorrect, right? 11 people said this. Just because an argument has true premises doesn't mean it's valid, right? Remember, an argument's valid if and only if it's not possible for its premises to be true and its conclusion false at the same time. So you actually need to memorize this stuff. Second one, there are valid arguments with true premises and a false conclusion. 5 of you said true, 37 of you said false. What do you think the answer is? What was false? Right? There are no valid arguments with true premises and a false conclusion, right? So remember, an argument is valid if and only if it's not possible for its premises to be true and its conclusion false, right? So if the argument's valid, right, and it has true premises, it has to have a true conclusion, right? Otherwise, it wouldn't be valid. An argument is valid if and only if it's not possible for its premises to be true and its conclusion false at the same time. 38 of you said true, 4 of you said false. That's just the definition of validity, right? So if you actually memorize the definition of validity, which you were supposed to, right, you should have gotten this right, barring the possibility that you just misread the question. Next one, some arguments have no conclusion. 6 of you said true, 36 of you said false. What do you think the answer is? Well, it's false. Just think about the definition of what an argument is. Okay. Again, the reason why it's so important to actually have these memorized, because you'll lose small points here and there, right? But also, everything that we do is going to build on these definitions. So, yeah. Some arguments are both sound and invalid. 2 of you said true, 40 of you said false. The answer is false. Remember, an argument's sound if and only if first it's valid and second its premises are true, right? So there are no arguments that are sound and invalid, right? In order to be sound, it has to be valid. Right? Any argument that is sound has true premises and a true conclusion. 36 of you said true, 6 of you said false. The answer is true. Right, so any argument that's sound has true premises, right, by definition. So an argument's sound if and only if it's valid and its premises are true. And it has a true conclusion, right? So if it's valid, then if the premises are true, the conclusion has to be true as well. We specified it's sound only if it's valid, true premises, true conclusion follows. Any argument with true premises and a true conclusion is sound. This really split people. 22 of you said true, 20 of you said false. The answer was false, right? The minority was correct here. Right? Just because an argument has true premises and a true conclusion, that doesn't make it sound, right? So soundness requires validity, right, and truth of the premises, right? What I've told you here is only that the premises are true and the conclusion's true, but that could just be an accident, right? It might not be the case that the argument's valid, right? So it might not be the case. So, sorry, if it weren't valid, it wouldn't be sound, right? So we couldn't say any argument with true premises and a true conclusion is sound, although some arguments with true premises and true conclusions are sound. And then finally, there are arguments that are valid but unsound. 33 of you said true, that's correct. 9 of you said false. I don't know what the people who thought it was false were thinking. Right, so think about soundness as requiring more than just validity, right? So since it requires more, that more could be missing, right? So what's the missing bit? Well, it's the truth of the premises, right? So there are arguments that are valid but unsound. How is it that they're unsound but valid? Well, it means that their premises aren't true. All right, so that's all of it. Good work. Keep it up, and I'll do this next week if this is helpful.